Our guy, Sean Pendergast, joins us, radio host out there, as I mentioned, host pre- and post-game out there, working hard. Sean, welcome to the program, my friend. Hey, we'll bring you into this. You hear us talking about it. Great defense, great win last night. Let's start with the quarterbacks. I mean, we're having a conversation here about Drake May. We feel good about our guy. We watched your guy last night. I mean, fumbling, bumbling, an interception. What can you tell us what happened to C.J. Stroud? Because year one, I mean, he was a league beater, and now it seems like he's regressed, Sean.
Yeah, so there's two things going on. First, it's great to be with you guys, and I'm very much looking forward to the game this Sunday. There's two things going on. I would say I'll start with the big picture with C.J. Stroud. And from about the middle of last year, when the offensive line for the Texans was really breaking down badly, C.J. took a beating. He took the second most sacks in the NFL last year behind only Caleb Williams. And I thought that stretch of football really affected him. He started looking jittery in the pocket. He was able to kind of recapture a little bit of the magic towards the end of the year, won that big playoff game against the Chargers. But ultimately, the Texans go out in the divisional round. They did a complete revamp of the offense this year. They fired Bobby Slowick. They brought in Nick Caley. They tore down the offensive line pretty much to the studs and started over again. So there was a slow start to this year with the new system and a bunch of new offensive linemen. About midway through the season, CJ began to really start to pick things up and played really, really well. And then he gets concussed, misses 3 weeks. So it's been a lot of fits and starts with CJ. But overall, there's been a lot of progress this year. And then last night happens, and he fumbles the ball 5 times. 2 of them he loses in just ridiculous circumstances. The interception that he threw was worse than the 2 fumbles because they were in the red zone. The hope is that this is just a bad night for CJ last night, because the one thing he's done really well this year, and the offense has done really well for the Texans, is protect the football. They had the least amount of turnovers in the NFL last year. So last night was a complete outlier, at least in terms of turning the ball over. So the hope here is that it was an outlier, but I can tell you, this morning, doing my morning show here in Houston, the calls and the texters were very polarized on C.J. Stroud.
Interesting. Oh, I would imagine they would be. Going to the other side of the ball from last night for a moment, Aaron Rodgers' last pass of the game, play of the game, was a pick 6. Is he done? And if he is done with his career, his last play was against the Texans, and it was a pick 6 of his entire career. That was it. Do you think that he is done and that's how he goes out?
Yeah, Lucy, not just a pick 6, but a pick 6 where he made the most sheepish, half-hearted attempt at a tackle on the pick 6 that I think I've ever seen. He just kind of like threw his body in there, like he's just chest bumping Kalen Bullock on the way to the end zone, like congratulating him almost. It's a hell of a way for someone who's in the conversation for the greatest of all time to go out last night. But I thought within the context of last night's game, I thought it was appropriate. The first 2 series, it looked like there might be a little bit of that Rodgers magic still going on. Rodgers hit DK Metcalf for a couple of passes right out of the chute. Got a pass interference. 3 of the first 7 plays in last night's game, DK Metcalf was involved either catching the football or drawing a pass interference. And I wrote down in my notes, DK Metcalf is going to be a problem tonight. And then he dropped that ball on the 3rd series, and he didn't catch a ball the rest of the night. So within the context of what last night was, a pick 6 at the end was completely appropriate because they were in 3rd and long all night. That Texans defense, that we know what the Steelers like to do. They like to get the ball out to the running backs and let Gainwell and Jalen Warren break tackles and do their thing. And, I think the Patriots are going to find out what a lot of these teams are finding out. Yards after the catch are just not available with this Texans defense. I'm not saying that the Patriots can't have success against that Texans defense, although it will be tough. But yards after the catch are not a thing with these guys. These guys swarm to the football. They tackle. And, the finisher on Aaron Rodgers last night, the strip sack by Danielle Hunter that Sheldon Rankins turned into a touchdown, and the Kalen Bullock pick 6. It is wild. We were saying that on the postgame show last night, like, holy crap, that might be the last play of Aaron Rodgers' career. Wow. And it was a pick 6 to Kalen Bullock.
Yeah, it happened to Tom Brady, too. He had a pick 6 for his final throw. But, Sean, you and I, we have covered Patriots-Texans playoff games for years, okay?
Old times, Joe. It's like old times.
The Texans are tomato cans. I'm sorry. That's what they are. But prove to me, that they're not based off the quarterbacks they've played this year. The Patriots have been criticized about their schedule all season long and who they've played. I respect the defense. I do think the Texans defense is good. Don't get me wrong. But what quarterbacks have they really beat this year? I know they beat Josh Allen, but come on. If you're going to compare the Patriots' schedule, who have the Texans played as far as quarterbacks go?
Well, they beat Patrick Mahomes also this year. They beat Josh Allen.
The non-playoff Chiefs.
Sean, this is what I deal with.
Okay, that's very disrespectful. Don't make me stick up for Patrick Mahomes, Joe. Please don't make me do that.
Thank you, Sean.
No. Well, I mean, they beat Justin Herbert. You guys know a little bit of something about that in this playoff game, right?
Yep.
I will say this about the Texans' schedule is that they lost 5 games this year, and they were all by 1 score. 4 of them were to playoff teams. They lost to the Rams, the Seahawks, the Broncos, and and the Jacksonville Jaguars early in the season.
All playoff teams.
All by 1 score. They are 12-2, now 13-2, I guess, if we're counting last night. But they're 13-2 in their last 15 games. The only 2 losses were to the Seattle Seahawks on Monday night in Seattle and to the Denver Broncos in the game where C.J. Stroud got concussed 1 quarter into the game. They have undoubtedly played a very, very difficult schedule. They have led in games in the second most snaps playing with a lead this year. So they don't let games get out of hand really. The defense keeps them in every game. If C.J. Stroud just doesn't do boneheaded things like he did last week and they can run the football, this is going to be a hell of a game on Sunday in Foxborough.
Well, heading into the game last night, I did like the Steelers to win, and I did have them to cover, but they certainly did not because...
She's not bitter, Sean.
Not bitter at all, but
Hey, Lucy, did you have any actual American currency on it? That's where you have the right to get bitter.
Yes, unfortunately. But I mostly picked that because I thought the Steelers were the team that I want the Patriots to face because they are not the scarier team. The Texans were the scarier team. That's from our perspective. From the perspective outside of New England, from the Houston perspective, are the Patriots a scary team to face? Or are you coming into this game like the Texans have the defense, they have what it takes to win this game? Or is this going to be a challenge for them? Are the Patriots scary to face again?
I think there's something scary about Drake May for sure, especially coming off a game where you played Aaron Rodgers and mobility was 0 factor at all in that game. You knew... We all watched that game. You knew where Aaron Rodgers was going to be. This was not the Aaron Rodgers of even 4 or 5 years ago, pre the Achilles tendon tear, that could hurt you with his legs. Drake May can absolutely hurt you with his legs. He can hurt you with his arm. There's a reason that he's going to be first or second in the MVP voting this year. He is outstanding. So that part is scary. I think as far as the Patriots' weapons go, I think they're good, but not great. I know Diggs has had a really good year for you guys. We know a little something about Diggs from the half a season that we got with him last year. I think Mike Vrabel's a really good coach. I think that's a really good defense. I think the battle between the coordinators and these 2 head coaches are going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to DeMeco Ryans versus Josh McDaniels in this one. Yep. I think this whole league is wide open right now. So I don't think there's a scary team that's really left in this thing. Yep. I think you're right to be scared of the Texans defense just because of physically what they do to teams. They're a different breed. But the fact of the matter is they've, for most of the year, had to carry the Texans offense. So if we're balancing this thing out, the Texans as a whole, I think they belong with these other 3 teams in the AFC. And I think any of these 4 teams can win this thing. So, and I think this is a Texans team that's actually equipped to go on the road. They've gone into some tough environments over the second half of the season. They went to Indianapolis when Indianapolis was still a thing before they just bottomed out. Daniel Jones was still healthy. They won there. The following week, they go win on Sunday Night Football at Kansas City. That was before Kansas City kind of bottomed out and lost Mahomes. And then, that was a tough environment last night in Pittsburgh, I thought, and they went in and they handled their business there. So I don't think the moment's going to get too big for them. I think they have to get better execution from their quarterback, period, point blank.
Sean, I know you're a wrestling fan. We all know about the road to WrestleMania. But what about the road to the big game in San Francisco in the AFC? Do people want to see the Texans and Broncos? Or do they want to see the Patriots and Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills? What's the script here, Sean?
Why are you so disrespectful,
Why
bro?
would he would want to see the
Define
Texans?
people.
Nobody
There's a lot
wants
of
to see
people.
the Texans. Come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Sean does.
Travis and Lucy, take up for me here. Joe, there's a lot of people in this world, Joe, and not everybody wants to see the same thing.
I swear, Sean.
Everybody's got their taste. My wife likes Brussels sprouts. I have no idea why.
I like Buffalo Brussels sprouts. Very good.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Look, I know that if we're talking storylines, anything involving the Bills, just because of their history with the Super Bowl, I do think the one thing with the Bills and the Patriots is it's not a super fresh matchup. It's an AFC East matchup. So if we're talking about the nation, it is kind of confined there. And the Texans are among the 4 teams that are still left. The Texans are no doubt the one that's probably the toughest sell nationwide. Although I do think this defense has elevated their marquee value. I think there's something about this defense that people really like to watch play. I think DeMeco Ryans is a head coach that people can get behind. But yeah, at the end of the day, I have no idea what America wants at the end of the day. You know, I'm on Twitter all day, Joe. You know, like I just know America hates things. That's, you know, they hate everything.
You got to sell the Texans on me, Sean. I'm not buying them, bro.
Joe, I'm on Twitter all day. You know what America wants? None of these teams in it. They don't want any of these 8 teams in it.
Sean, we'll let you go with this. I mean, listen, we need to get a prediction from you. I know there's several more days to go here, but what are you thinking? I know this much. Drake May and Josh McDaniels have got to do better than any damn thing we saw from the Steelers last night. And it's a short week for your boys.
Yeah.
Where are you leaning here in terms of prediction?
Well, and the other big variable, too, is that there's no Nico Collins in all likelihood in this game. That's a big one, although the Texans, that San Francisco game I was talking about before, Nico was out with a concussion in that game, and C.J. Stroud probably had his best game as a pro. He's like 30 for 38 for 350 yards against San Francisco in that game with no Nico Collins. Guys, I'm a Houston guy. This team needs to get to an AFC title game so that we can get to a Super Bowl and so that I can get my semi-phony ring that people that aren't players get for doing the post-game show and the pre-game show for the Texans. I am going Texans 23, Patriots 20.
Respect.
You might have to wait for the Rockets to get that ring, bro.
Yeah, respect.
No,
Respect.
not lately.
I know.
lately.
That's another day.
That's right.
A story for another day.
That's right. Sean, we appreciate it, man, and we'll have you back on after the Patriots win. Thank you, my friend.
Appreciate it, Sean.
Thanks. Enjoy talking to you guys. Enjoy the
talking to
game
you,
this
man.
weekend. All right.
See what I did there? He didn't catch it either. I just right over the plate.
After the Patriots win. I can't take him seriously. I can't do it.
I gave him high heat there.
Where's the varsity jackets, Lucy? Remember those?
Oh, those were terrible. When we come back, what's trending in the world of sports? Spoiler alert, it's you, our co-host. We'll explain next right here on Boston Has Entered the Chat.